Hello and welcome to version 4.4 of Alphaletz, and we've got some very exciting updates to tell you about today. We've been working hard to add in some new features that we've been asked for by users, such as pro rata rent payments, automated email reminders, the ability to add your company logo, a new tenant page design for simplification, lease and rent scheduler improvements, an updated mobile app, and some bug fixes and of course performance improvements. So let's get to it. Okay, so here we are in an empty property. So we're going to add a lease. So what I do is there's different ways you can add a lease. You can add it from this button here. You can add it here. You can go into the lease history. But we're going to add it from here in this particular instance. So I'm going to add the tenant. So we've got some dummy ones set up here. If the tenant isn't on your list, you just add it from this little button here. But let's pick Susan Phillips in this particular example. And we are going to start her lease from the 2nd of August. We're going to make it for 12 months. We'll make it £1,000 to keep the numbers nice and round and easy. First payment just means if they were paying 2 or 3 months up front, you could put that in here, like a £3,000 if it was three months up front. We're going to add a security deposit in here, £1,500. And in this case, you can see that the lease starts on the 2nd of the month, but we're going to make it the 18th of the month. So you'll notice that the system auto-calculates the first payment at £533.28. And that's because the lease starts on the 2nd, but the payment date is the 18th. So we automatically calculate that particular amount. The other thing you can do is we can now set up lease email reminders. So for example, 45 days before the tenancy agreement ends or the lease agreement, you can set an email reminder to send off to the tenants. And in next week, we're going to add a CC field here, so you can CC as many people as you want. So it could be multiple tenants, for example. It could be a letting agent as well, or somebody else like a guarantor, or whoever you want, you can add in there, and as many as you like. You can do the same for rent due reminder. So let's say 3 days before the rent is due, we're going to send them an email to remind them that we're about to collect the rent. And if the rent hasn't arrived, we can also send a rent overdue reminder. Let's say we want to do that 1 day after the rent hasn't been received. Now I'm going to save this lease, and we can see that the rent is showing as pending. And that's because if we go into the lease, we can see that on the 2nd of September, the rent is due at £533.28. That'll be the first pro rata payment. And then you can see from the 18th of the month, we'll be collecting the full £1,000. Okay, so here we are back on the front page, and I'm now going to show you quickly the changes to my profile. So go in here. And now you notice that you can upload your company logo. Not everybody has a company logo, but more and more landlords have a limited company now. So if you wanted to put that in here, you can do. And then it'll be used for your email templates and invoices if you would like to do that. You'll find that in my profile. The other change we've made is if you go into tenants, you see your tenants list here, you can see the arrears, you can see start dates and end dates. But if we pick a particular tenant, you notice that this form has been updated in a much cleaner and crisper new look. Okay, the final thing I'm going to cover in this update is some other improvements we've made on the rent scheduler. So now if you go in here, you can see all the pending payments, and they're all scheduled, so they're really easy to see at a glance. But let's say this payment in August, let's say it's the 1st of August, we're going to make this payment. With one click, you can do that and it'll mark that as paid. But if you like, if it's, let's say the tenant decides to pay extra, so let's say it's £1,200 this month for whatever reason, maybe it was some overdue rent that wasn't paid last month, you could put that in here, you can mark it as paid, you put in the dates as well that you received it. Let's put that in today's date. And then you'll notice that it is automatically scheduled it's put in the 1,000 here, and it's added on the extra 200 as a part payment for September. You can see the date paid is the 31st of July, so they were both paid on the same date, but now it allows you to put overpayments in here as well. I hope you enjoyed that short video on some recent updates, and please remember to subscribe to our channels because that's how we can keep you updated with all the new stuff that we're working on. Thank you very much.